Okay, so your entire assignment is centered around finding enduring issues that connect to each document that you're given. And then at the end, you need to write a paragraph that needs to be 8 to 10 sentences. Okay, and it needs to cover all of these three things in the task. So, right here it reminds you that an enduring issue is a challenge or problem that has been debated or discussed across time. The list of enduring issues that we've been using throughout the school year is in a couple places on Schoology. If you need help finding those, just let me know. It looks like this. Okay. You can use any of these that you think relate to the documents or think relate to your paragraph. So, document one, the two questions that you're going to answer for each of the documents is what is the main idea of this document and which enduring issue does this document relate to? So, document one says, one positive, undisputed result of the Crusades was a greatly expanded knowledge of geography gained by the West. With the coming of such vast hordes of invaders from all points of Europe, the veil of the mysterious East had been lifted for good. The Arab builders learned much about military masonry from the Crusaders who had brought this knowledge from Normandy and Italy. In constructing the famed citadel of Cairo, Saladin had taken some of the features of the Crusaders' castles he had observed up and down the Levant, and then when the great cathedrals of Europe began to rise in a somewhat later period, their builders installed windows of stained glass made with a technique which had originated with the ancient Phoenicians of Syria and passed along by Syrian Arabs to Europeans living in the East. Okay, so this entire paragraph is just talking about how, as people were moving around during the Crusades and the war was happening, and they were entering into different countries, they were taking some of those ideas that they saw back to their countries, and so that's why you see like pieces of certain architecture from Europe in different areas of the world. The last paragraph says, from a purely military point of view, the Crusades must be written off as a failure for the West, because after changing hands so many times, the territory comprising the Christian kingdom of Jerusalem returned to the Muslims for good. But during that 2 century struggle between East and West, it is plain now that each side made major contributions to the culture of the other. The vast interchange let in a few rays of light over a darkened Europe and removed for good the wall of ignorance that had always existed between Europe and Asia. So, what is the main idea of this document? So, you need to pick out what is the main point of this document. Yes, it's about the Crusades, but specifically, what about the Crusades is this document telling you? Um, it kind of touches on the military point of view, but remember, you're focusing on something else. So, I would look at the middle paragraph for your answer to the main idea. The next thing you need to do is say which enduring issue does this document relate to. So, looking at our list of enduring issues, you have conflict, desire for power, inequity, need for impact of innovation, impact of interconnectedness, impact of ideas and beliefs, and environmental impact. Scarcity won't be one of them. So, you have to establish the main idea of this document. The main idea of this document, document one, is going to be more so about the connections between the many different countries when the Crusades were going on. It's not necessarily about the fight, it's not necessarily about the actual wars that were happening during the Crusades, it's the other things that were exchanged. So, knowing that, go back to this, and I would say your best bet for an enduring issue for this first document would probably be something like the impact of interconnectedness or the impact of ideas and beliefs. You could even probably do environmental impact if you wanted to. I would choose one of those three, okay? And you need to tell me, in this area, you're going to tell me which enduring document that this document or which enduring issue this document relates to. Moving on. Document 2, you have origins and the spread of the Black Death in Asia. Okay, so again, what is the main idea of this document? So look at the key to help you. What are the lines representing in this document? What's going on in this document? What does the title tell you about this document? Okay, what is the main idea? What is the purpose of this document? What information is it trying to get across? Again, you need to identify the enduring issue that this document relates to, and then you need to tell me why. Why did you choose that enduring issue? Why does that enduring issue relate? You can't just state the enduring issue. So this is a map, okay, origins and spread of the Black Death in Asia. And then you're seeing on your key, you have common sea trade routes, common overland trade routes. You have the areas of plague, and the dates represent the breakout of the plague. Okay, so you're seeing like a year up here and a year up here. So looking at the title and looking at the key, what do we think we're seeing with how the Black Death started and how did it spread? Okay, so then you have to go to your enduring issues, and then again, you have to choose which enduring issue you think would connect to this. So we're talking about the Black Death spreading, we're talking about how it's spreading. Think about how it spread and what enduring issue might connect to that. Okay. Moving on to the document 3A. Okay, this is also a map. This one does not have a title. That's okay. It still has a key, so you should still be able to use that key for information. Okay. So it says the original core of Buddhism in 6th century BC, and then it shows you the spread of Buddhism, the spread of Mahayana Buddhism, and the spread of Theravada Buddhism. Okay, so all different types of Buddhism. So what is the main idea of this document? Okay, again, you're seeing the spread of something from places. How do things usually spread? What have we learned in Global One that allows for ideas and beliefs and cultures and religions? What allows for them to spread? All right, so again, look back at your list of enduring issues. Choose the one that you think connects to this document the best and tell me why. For document 3B, you have percentage of Buddhist population in each country worldwide. Okay, so what is the main idea of this document? So again, you can use the title on this. You can use this little key over here, this little color-coded key. Okay, it's 3B because it's kind of connected to this one, so you can kind of use, any background info that you have from this one to answer 3B. And then again, you're doing which enduring issue does this document relate to and why? In document 4. So you have another map, but you also have a little reading blurb at the top. You always need to make sure that you're reading the reading blurb that's at the top. So in 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed west across the Atlantic Ocean and landed in the West Indies. His voyage led to the colonization of the Americas by European countries like Portugal, England, Spain, and France. Trade between the Americas, Europe, and Africa became known as triangular trade. Okay, so you're seeing the arrows here. So this line right here has an arrow on the top that's showing you what came out of North America and went to Europe. And then this one on the bottom is showing you what came out of Europe and went to North America. So it's a map of trade. So what is the main idea of this document? What is this map showing you, knowing what you know and seeing what you see, and then also using the blurb at the top? And then what enduring issue does this, so you have another map about trade. What enduring issue do you think this document might relate to and why? Document 5. Document 5 talks about something called globalization, and it explains to you right in the first sentence what globalization is. Globalization is the process by which the world is becoming increasingly interconnected as a result of increased trade and cultural exchange. Okay, it then goes on to tell you about the effect of globalization, a little more in depth about it, and then it gives you a little chart down here. Okay, so right in the definition, it uses the word interconnected, which ideally should kind of tip you off to what enduring issue might fit it the best. All right. So again, you need the main idea of this document and the enduring issue, but you always need to make sure you're telling me why you chose that enduring issue. Don't just put an enduring issue down and hope that it's the right one. Okay. Once you've completed the questions with the documents, you're going to do your task at the bottom. So you need to respond in a paragraph. It needs to be at least 8 to 10 sentences. Okay. You need to identify and define an enduring issue. So you're choosing, so even though you just chose separate enduring issues for all of your documents, you are now identifying one enduring issue that you think would relate best to most of those documents. So you're identifying and defining. You need to make sure you define the enduring issue. So what enduring issue did you probably see the most throughout these documents? You're going to choose 3 documents that you can connect to that enduring issue. So for example, say you had 3 documents that all connected to conflict, and that was the enduring issue that you chose to use down here. I would suggest making it easy on yourself and just identifying conflict and then using the 3 documents that have conflict under them. Okay? Go with what you have the most of. So you're going to identify 3 documents that relate to your enduring issue, and then you're going to include relevant outside information from your knowledge of social studies. All right? So you need to, let's see, you'll start off by saying conflict is an enduring issue throughout time. Okay, and then you can say, then you'll define it. Sorry. So you'll say conflict is a serious disagreement or argument. And then you can say 3 documents that relate to this enduring issue are, say it's 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Then you need to explain why those documents. You always need to make sure you're putting the why in. If you include the why in your paragraph, it shouldn't be too difficult to get to 8 to 10 sentences. If you just give me the basics, then it'll be more of a struggle to get to 8 to 10 sentences. So you'll say document 1 shows conflict because, and then tell me why. So you can pretty much take what you put for question 2 on the document, because it asks you which enduring issue and why, and insert it into your paragraph here. Okay. You need to also make sure you're including relevant outside information. So week 1 of online work, we have notes on the Crusades. We have notes on the Black Death. You can use your outside resources, whatever. Okay, but you need to just write a paragraph. This is just an example. Don't use conflict as your enduring issue. I don't believe that any of these documents would support you well enough to use conflict as your enduring issue in this paragraph. That's why I chose to use it as an example, so that you can't just exactly copy what I did. If you have questions, just message me on Schoology.